Everybody loves Lucy. I love Lucy.
Thank
Do
you.
you love Lucy?
Yes, I do.
Are you unpopular?
Did you find yourself growing up and growing as a woman while you were doing it?
No, I got more childish and happier. When you are doing bigger-than-life things that are unbelievable, you have to believe, so you're believing unbelievable things.
Lucille Ball faced intense scrutiny when accused of being a communist, a claim that threatened her career and reputation during the height of her success on I Love Lucy. Her husband, Desi Arnaz, stood by her, fighting to clear her name by inviting journalists and involving the FBI to publicly affirm her innocence. Will Lucy's hidden feelings cause chaos among the guests? Join us as we dive into an episode where the laughter on screen hides darker, more urgent tensions brewing beneath. Lucille Ball's Week of Reckoning. In a segment from Amazon's documentary, Lucy and Desi, Lucy Arnaz shares a difficult time her parents, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, faced in 1953. During this period, headlines accused Lucille Ball of being a communist, with bold letters making the accusation impossible to ignore. The claims were based on an event from 1936 when Ball had registered as a communist. However, she didn't do this because she supported the ideology. She did it to please her grandfather, Frederick Charles Hunt, who was passionate about workers' rights and had a big influence on her. Lucy recalls how her mother was filled with fear and uncertainty, worried that people might believe she was truly a communist. This concern wasn't just about her reputation, it could have ruined their careers and the family's name. Seeing this, Desi Arnaz took action, stepping in to manage the crisis that unfolded over that stressful week. Things took a serious turn when Lucille Ball was called to explain her past to the FBI and the House Committee on Un-American Activities, a group set up by Congress to investigate people suspected of being linked to communism or fascism. The documentary even reveals statements from Ball's brother Fred, who confirmed that they had registered as communists only to appease their grandfather, not because they believed in the cause. This chapter in their lives not only shows the personal challenges the Arnaz family faced, but also reflects the widespread fear in America during the 1950s. Back then, accusations like these could easily destroy public figures. But this wasn't the worst part. The documentary, through Lucy's memories and old footage, gives a clear picture of a family struggling to protect their name and legacy in a time of national paranoia. Lucy talked about how her mother, Lucille Ball, faced a tough time when a newspaper wrongly accused her of being a communist. The Los Angeles Herald-Express published an article with the bold headline, "Lucille Ball a Red," which caused a big scandal. At that time, Lucy was just about 2 years old. Her father, Desi Arnaz, quickly took action to protect his wife's reputation. He invited many journalists to their home to clear up the situation. Desi explained that Lucille had never been a member of the Communist Party, trying to set the record straight against the false accusations. Desi's efforts to fix her public image didn't stop there. This is also shown in Aaron Sorkin's 2021 movie, Being the Ricardos. In a bold move, Desi invited reporters to watch a live recording of their popular show, I Love Lucy. During the event, he made a dramatic phone call to J. Edgar Hoover, the director of the FBI, to make it clear that Lucille was innocent. But that wasn't the end of the story. Desi's approach, which involved both the media and a powerful figure like Hoover, was key in changing how the public saw Lucille and clearing her name from the damaging accusations. Afterward, Arnaz proudly introduced Ball to the crowd. Lucy recalled that her father made one of his most famous remarks, pointing out that the only red thing about her was her hair, which wasn't even real. The audience responded with loud applause and cheers. In the 1950s, Lucille Ball became a beloved figure in millions of American households. She and her real-life husband, Desi Arnaz, were the stars of the hit TV show I Love Lucy. At its height, the show was watched by 60% of American homes every week, making it a massive success. It broke new ground for its time by featuring a mixed-race couple and showing a pregnant woman on television, both of which were considered bold and even risky topics back then. Surprisingly, these daring themes didn't stir up as much controversy as one might expect. But something else almost ended Ball's career. Was Lucille Ball connected to communism? This question arose when accusations against her surfaced, threatening to ruin her career and damage her public image. During this tense time, the strong support from Arnaz and the clear statement from Hoover were crucial in keeping her beloved by the public, ensuring her place in American entertainment history. Lucy remembered a time when Hoover spoke to Arnaz over the phone close enough for the studio audience to hear. Hoover made it clear that Lucille Ball was fully cleared of any accusations and was completely innocent. In the 1950s, Lucille Ball captured the hearts of Americans. She and her husband, Desi Arnaz, starred in the highly successful television series I Love Lucy. At its peak, the show was watched by 60% of American households each week, marking an extraordinary achievement. The show broke new ground by portraying an interracial couple and featuring a pregnant woman on television, both of which were considered daring topics at the time. However, it wasn't these groundbreaking aspects that nearly ended Lucille Ball's career. Instead, it was rumors about her political affiliations. Was Lucille Ball really involved with communism? This lingering question threatened to overshadow her otherwise brilliant career. In the early 1950s, during a period known as the Second Red Scare, many well-known Hollywood figures were closely examined for supposed ties to communism. Lucille Ball, famous for her role as Lucy Ricardo in the TV show I Love Lucy, also found herself under this intense scrutiny because of her alleged connections to communism. The movie Being the Ricardos, directed by Aaron Sorkin and released in December 2021, looks at a particularly tough week in Ball's life during this time. The film adds some dramatic touches to make the story more engaging, showing how these accusations not only threatened her career, but also put a strain on her marriage to Desi Arnaz. As the scandal faded, the Arnaz family looked forward to new beginnings and continued success in show business. A battle beyond the screen. Historical documents from 1936 reveal that when Ball registered to vote, she listed her political affiliation as communist, following the lead of other family members. She later explained that she made this choice to please her grandfather, who had socialist leanings. However, there's no proof that she was actively involved in the Communist Party. Things took a serious turn in 1953 when Rena Vale, a journalist and known communist, testified before the House Un-American Activities Committee. Vale claimed that she had attended a meeting for new communist members at Ball's home in 1937. This claim only fueled the suspicions surrounding Ball. But despite these accusations, Ball consistently stated that her connection to the Communist Party was minimal and mostly influenced by her family's political views rather than her own beliefs. This part of her life highlights the immense pressure and fear that entertainers faced during the Red Scare, where even a hint of association with communism could ruin the most successful careers. But this wasn't the worst part. Many entertainers like Ball had to navigate these dangerous waters while trying to maintain their livelihoods and personal relationships. Lucille Ball willingly went to the House Un-American Activities Committee to talk about her political connections. She wanted to clear up any misunderstandings and prove she wasn't involved in any anti-American activities. The committee listened to her and decided she wasn't a threat. However, things took a turn when the Los Angeles Herald-Express published a bold headline saying Lucille Ball was read in 1936 in bright red letters. This headline put her Hollywood career in jeopardy. Lucille had to tread carefully after that. The accusations were serious and could have ended her time in the spotlight. The movie Being the Ricardos touched on this part of her life, but it didn't stick to the real timeline. In the film, these events are shown happening during the production of a particular episode of her show, but that's not how it actually happened. The filmmakers adjusted the timeline to fit the story, adding other dramatic elements like the supposed infidelity of her husband, Desi Arnaz. The movie also hinted at a disagreement between Ball and Arnaz about how to handle the situation. Arnaz suggested they could say she made a mistake on her voter registration and accidentally checked the wrong box. But things got more complicated when the newspaper got a hold of her actual voter registration card, where communist was clearly written. This was a tense period in Lucille Ball's life. She had to navigate public scrutiny while trying to protect her reputation and career. In a time when being labeled a communist could have serious consequences, she needed to be very careful. She approached the situation thoughtfully, focusing on preserving both her good name and her beloved career in entertainment. But this wasn't the worst of it. Lucille had to face even more challenges as the spotlight on her grew more intense. The couple was very worried that the controversy might end their television show and careers. However, Arnaz came up with a plan to address the issue directly. As he got ready to film episode 68 of I Love Lucy, which was recorded live, he joked with the audience saying that the only thing truly red about Lucy was her hair. And even that wasn't real. The network executives and the show's sponsors fully supported Ball during this difficult time. Their trust in her paid off when she quickly cleared her name and restored her reputation. Later that year, Lucille Ball and the main cast of I Love Lucy were invited to Washington to celebrate President Dwight D. Eisenhower's birthday, marking a major comeback. In 2022, a documentary on Amazon Prime Video titled Lucy and Desi explored the ups and downs of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, the beloved stars of I Love Lucy. Directed by Amy Poehler, the film goes beyond their television achievements and offers a closer look at their lives as a couple, both on and off the screen. The documentary uses previously unseen footage, including personal home videos and audio recordings, to let Ball and Arnaz narrate much of their story, showing how their professional and personal lives were deeply connected. But this wasn't the most surprising part. The documentary reveals just how intertwined their work and marriage were, offering new insights into their complex relationship. The movie did a great job of telling their love story, making the audience feel really close to them. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz were married for 10 years. During those years, Arnaz often traveled, spending more than 8 of those years away from home. This time apart put a lot of pressure on their marriage. To help keep their relationship strong, they decided to work together on a project, creating the TV show I Love Lucy. The show quickly became a huge success, winning several Emmy Awards. As they were getting ready to start the show, Arnaz came up with a new idea. He decided to film the episodes using 3 cameras at the same time, capturing the scenes from different angles, all in front of a live audience. This was a big change in how TV shows were made. It made sure that each episode looked great no matter where it was shown. This innovation changed television forever, making it possible for shows to be rebroadcast many times so that audiences could keep enjoying their favorite series. But that wasn't the only challenge they faced. While their work on the show was groundbreaking, the pressures of their busy lives continued to build. Even though I Love Lucy was a massive success, their personal struggles were still very real. Despite the show's success, their relationship was strained by the demands of their work and the time apart. The show kept them connected, but the distance still took its toll. They managed to create something special together, but their marriage still faced many ups and downs. Yet even with these difficulties, they kept pushing forward, breaking new ground in television and leaving a lasting impact on the industry. Their work together on I Love Lucy became a legacy, remembered by audiences for generations. However, the strain on their marriage was undeniable, showing that success in one area of life doesn't always mean everything else will fall into place. As we turn the page from Lucille's political controversies, we delve into her subsequent innovations in television and their lasting impact. The Lucy Desi legacy. As I Love Lucy became more popular, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz decided to start their own production company, desilu Productions. Desi took on the role of president, while Lucille became the vice president. Over time, they began producing more TV shows and movies at the desilu studios. However, the huge success of their original show brought challenges that started to affect their marriage. Both Lucille and Desi struggled to find happiness in their success without constantly trying to achieve more. Desi admitted that he never really learned how to balance his life. As his work demands increased, he became more exhausted each day and felt a strong urge to escape. The tension at home grew worse. While Lucille found comfort in her work, Desi turned to alcohol. He was so focused on making the business successful that he let their marriage fall apart, and eventually the business itself became a burden. Over time, he admitted that he grew to hate it. But the real surprise was how this success didn't bring the joy one might expect. In the documentary, their troubled relationship was shown alongside happy scenes from I Love Lucy. This approach helped soften the hard truths about their personal lives by mixing them with the humor and charm of their TV characters, keeping the documentary engaging and preventing it from becoming too heavy. It was surprising that the very show meant to strengthen their marriage and help them start a family ended up driving them apart. But even through all the challenges, their deep love for each other was never in doubt. Ball often talked about love as a commitment to being devoted. She stayed true to this belief, even when Arnaz felt like he didn't belong in America, a feeling that lingered since he left Cuba. Ball remained by his side. The documentary's inclusion of Arnaz's painful past in Cuba was a surprising choice since he rarely talked about it, usually only mentioning how beautiful his hometown was. Forced to leave due to political unrest, Arnaz always felt like a man without a real home, searching but never finding it. He once admitted that if it hadn't been for Lucy, he might have given up trying a long time ago. Another challenging time came when the House Un-American Activities Committee accused Ball of being a communist, a charge linked to a decision she made years earlier to please her grandfather. Although she was never involved in communist activities, the media and public scrutiny during that period were intense. The documentary captured the overwhelming pressure they faced, especially in the courtroom scenes where reporters bombarded them with questions. To clear her name, Arnaz took the lead, bringing the press and public to one of their live shows. During the show, he called J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI, who confirmed that Lucy was cleared of all suspicions. Arnaz joked that the only thing red about Lucy was her hair, and even that wasn't natural. This difficult time in their lives could have torn them apart, but instead it showed how strong their support for each other was. The accusations might have broken them, but they stood together, proving their unity and dedication. Their relationship, with all its emotional ups and downs, showed how two people could be deeply connected, navigating love and commitment under the harsh spotlight of fame. But this wasn't the worst part. Even as they faced these public challenges, the real struggles were often the ones behind closed doors. Even though they played a loving couple on their famous comedy show, there was a lot of tension between them when the cameras were off. This shows how different someone's public image can be from their private life. After their main show ended, they worked together on a shorter series called The Lucy Desi Comedy Hour, which only lasted for one season. During this time, it became clear that both their personal relationship and their professional partnership were falling apart. If you watch episodes from I Love Lucy and then from the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour, you can see that they no longer had the same connection. Their marriage ended soon after the show. What many people might not know is that before they separated, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz made a big move in their careers by buying RKO Studios and adding it to their own company, Desilu Productions. But the most surprising part is that after they split up, Ball bought Arnaz's share of the company, making her the first woman to run a major Hollywood studio. This was a huge step and made her a role model for other women aiming for leadership roles in business. Even though their marriage ended, Arnaz continued to produce shows for Ball, showing that they could still work together. Their daughter, Lucy Arnaz Luckenbill, mentioned that after the divorce, their relationship became more friendly. They both went on to marry other people and had long, happy marriages. In 1986, when Arnaz passed away, one of the last voices he heard was Ball's, his former partner in life. They exchanged a heartfelt "I love you," a touching reminder of their shared history, and it happened to be on the anniversary of their wedding. Just 5 days after this emotional farewell, Ball attended an event at the Kennedy Center where a letter Arnaz had written before his death was read aloud. In it, Arnaz expressed deep admiration. "I believe Lucy deserves 90% of the credit for I Love Lucy. The rest of us just supported her. She was the heart of the show, and the title was perfectly fitting." Hearing this letter and seeing Ball's emotional reaction to Arnaz's loving words brought up strong emotions. It was a clear sign of the deep love they had for each other, even with all the challenges their marriage went through. This moment connected with the joy and sadness they both experienced over the years. The documentary that told these stories was a mix of humor and sadness, capturing the ups and downs of their relationship. It showed the difference between how they appeared in public and what their private lives were really like. The filmmakers used real recordings of Ball and Arnaz, which made the story feel more genuine and personal. From the very start, a statement set the mood for their story. Beneath all the hardship was a foundation of unconditional love. This message beautifully summed up the lasting legacy of Lucy and Desi's relationship, reminding everyone that behind the fame there were real deep feelings. Lucille Ball's story raises profound questions about the balance between personal integrity and public perception. What do you think is the most significant aspect of her ordeal? Like, share, and subscribe for more.